Many of us have jobs and stuff we have to pay off, just like car insurance, phone bill, or if you're just gonna have fun while you're still young and hang out with your friends on the weekend. Now, the job, the amount of money you get to spend each week determines on how many hours you work and how much you get paid by the hour. Um, so let's say you make the minimum of 7.25, which is the federal overall minimum wage, and let's say some people they can't get by on that, or they see themselves getting low and barely making it, that's when the minimum wage would be best raised in their favor. Um, Today, the minimum wage, I'll be talking about the history behind it, where it started from. Then I'll be talking about why it's such a big deal and how it's like spread across and talked about a lot. Then I'll end off with the benefits. Now, some people would say that it's bad to raise it because it'd be increasing the turnover rate, which is when people leave their jobs, and it would increase layoff due to higher raises and salary. But I'd say that's wrong because they would just be giving people more money to stay at their jobs and keeping that commitment there. So heading on to my first point about the history. It first was enforced in 1938 by President Franklin G. Roosevelt, which started at the time it was a quarter, which is 25 cents, which to us in value in 2018 it was valued at $4.25. So imagine just making $4.25 the job you do now, which is pretty much what they were making back in 1938. Since then, Congress has changed the federal minimum wage 22 times, being the last time in 2009 to $7.25. Fun fact, in 1968 was its highest purchasing value, which means it was $1.68 then, but to us it would be valued at $11.53, which pretty much gave us a quick little glance at what it would be like for us today if we changed it. According to CNN, around January 2019, 29 states have already changed this. States are allowed to change it, to increase it, but they're not allowed to go under. So according to CNN, 29 states have already hired it to keep up with their state living and how much it would cost. Also, many polls would say citizens want to change it. The polls have said that they would want it to be around $15 an hour would be the new raise. Now going on to why is it such a big deal, as you can see behind me, it's talked about in the presidential debates as candidates try to persuade you on joining their side. About the candidates use their views on why they should be raised or you should stay the same, and to try to persuade you on that. Now, they use it to talk about how they want to raise it because it would be like staying with the inflation rate. And so according to tradingeconomics.com, the inflation rate has gone up ever since June 2019. And so that means the cost of living is starting to rise up and be more expensive. And so that's causing a big spark in discussion of why we should raise it. Now, continuing past the debate, we're going to go into why it would be a benefit to raise the minimum wage. Now, what benefits would you get from raising the minimum wage? Well, families could keep up with the inflation, which is pretty much the price of living, and we could have a higher standard of living, which means people would be getting off the streets more because they'd be making more money, putting more money into their pocket. They'd be keeping the turnover rate and layoffs lower because they'd be getting more money, which means they'd be keeping people more at that one spot, and layoffs would be less because they'd be working harder for what they are making, which is more. And they would also cause the government to start slowly decreasing the amount of safety net programs they use to help people. Like, because safety net programs are pretty much programs where they can people get money from the government to make sure they have the stuff they need to live. And so it would be causing the decrease in use of the programs. Also, you'd be ending the if you're putting more pocket in your more money in your pocket every night and being able to survive. As I end the speech, I've talked about the history of the minimum wage, why it's a big deal, and the benefits. As I end the speech off, let me put one thought into your head. Imagine making $7.25 an hour, but then a couple months later they raise it to $15 an hour. How would that change your life of living?